NVIDIA has ticked off the internet because NVIDIA has announced DLSS 5, injecting even more AI into games. And this is by Jacqueline Thomas at IGN.
So DLSS debuted back in 2018 with the RTX 2080, and it was initially just the deep learning super sampling that it's named after. The idea was to take a game, render it at a lower resolution, and then upscale it using AI to your native resolution. DLSS has evolved a lot in the years now, and including features like frame generation, reflex, and now an AI model that injects new lighting and materials to make the scene more quote photorealistic. In its blog post, NVIDIA acknowledges the challenges that AI video models have faced in the past, namely their unpredictability. NVIDIA's solution is to tie the model to their color and motion vector data taken from the game engine, just like with frame generation to keep the output grounded in the original scene. According to NVIDIA, the model is trained to, quote, end to end understand complex scene semantics such as characters, hair, fabric, and translucent skin, excuse me, along with environmental lighting conditions with front lit, backlit, or overcast, all by analyzing a single frame. The model then uses that information to generate images. NVIDIA showed off the new technology in a new trailer that shows it running in Resident Evil Requiem, Hogwarts Legacy, and EA Sports FC. And it definitely makes a difference, making it look like the frame was run through some kind of AI filter. It remains to be seen just how much of an impact to gaming performance this new technology will make, or whether or not it will be as popular as NVIDIA's previous iterations of DLSS. NVIDIA hasn't released an exact release date for DLSS 5, but it will be coming sometime in the fall, starting with games like Aeon 2, Assassin's Creed Shadows, and Resident Evil Requiem. NVIDIA also doesn't announce which of its graphics cards would be compatible with this new AI filter, but it will likely be limited to Blackwell cards like the RTX 5090 and whatever next generation GPUs NVIDIA has cooking up for next year. Zach, you know, I get, again, we have said ad nauseum that AI as a tool, is, to help like put the finishing touches on it is good. AI to do what this is going to do is not the answer. And I know Roger Picorni, on Kind of Funny has said and I think he's spot on with this, is this is going to be a way to this is going to be like the lazy argument to basically like make all this art and like basically push real artists out the door, like replace them for this, and basically make like I forget how he like the roadmap he went down exactly, but basically said they're going to basically run this to make to where all games look like this, and it's like, see, we can make it better, or it was basically a whole rabbit hole. I don't know if I completely agree with it, but he does have some valid points, and some of it just doesn't look as good. Like some of it actually changes. Like I know I don't pay attention to a lot of character models, but apparently Grace Ashcroft in Resident Evil, like she has just completely like blonde hair, but when you turn on DLSS, it makes it seem like she has dark roots, and Roger's just like, yeah, she doesn't have dark roots. What is this thing doing? So, and some of it also looks like you could definitely tell like it's almost definitely AI generated, and it makes it almost look kind of bad. Leon's shot looks pretty good, but like the Grace one almost kind of looks a little weird. You know what I mean? So, what is your take on all this?
Yeah, like I've got it running right here. And Leon, the thing that gets me about this is you look at this and it feels like, okay, yes, it looks like a video game. Guess what? These are video games. Okay.
Right.
It looks like an art direction. This, on the other hand, doesn't look like an art direction. This looks like an amalgamation of everything.
Yeah.
Leon doesn't even look like Leon. He looks
True.
like he's like he goes from they take somebody said this on TikTok. I can't remember the dude's name. It was like we go from Leon to Leon. Like he's like goes from, you know what I mean? It's like it doesn't
like
even
the
feel.
Temu version.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't even feel like Leon anymore. And then this lady, it's like, yes, she's old, but why you got to do Granny like this? Because it's just like
I know.
it,
Like make your old more wrinkly. I'm like, come on now.
it looks like when you over emphasize details on a picture and it makes people look papery and just disfigures things. And it's like, well, there is more detail. And it's like, but do we need that detail? The only one that
Correct.
looks like anywhere like okay, Starfield here looks fine because this
Yeah.
like my god, like it, like okay, that looks fine to me. The next one though, where they show the people in the mine at the very beginning, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
you've got like they look perfectly fine, these models, because this is literally the first people you see. And then this just looks like AI slop. Like this looks like
Correct.
stuff that we see on TikTok all the time. It's just
Yeah.
like they look plastic, and I'm like, no. Now the EA Sports thing right here, that looks good.
But okay, it does look. I'm not saying it doesn't look good, and for like highlight replays, it will look good. But the actual gameplay is like the top-down view, watching the
Yeah,
player. So it's like, how much will you actually get to enjoy it and be immersed when you're like doing like the godlike view? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's how much will you get? Will that make a difference?
yeah, exactly. It's like you're definitely. I feel like they're just trying to homogenize what all games look like, and
Yes.
that is a problem with me, because every game has its own art direction. What Death Stranding looks like doesn't look like Resident Evil, and what Resident Evil looks like doesn't look like Ghost of Yotei. But if we throw this all into everything, it's just going to look like the same stuff over and over and over. Bane says, ew. Boom. If you had thought launching unfinished games was bad before, just wait. We haven't seen anything yet.
Facts.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Who approved this? Well, we're about to get to that. We've got another. We've got three parts to this one. The NVIDIA CEO responds to the backlash, and this is by Jacqueline Thomas at IGN.
In the subtext, in the next chapter of CEOs say the stupidest things, we've got the next chapter tonight. NVIDIA just announced DLSS 5, an upcoming iteration of its AI software suite for graphics cards at GTC 2026. However, there has been significant backlash due to the changes it seems to make to a game's aesthetic. But NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang disagrees. At a press Q&A event at the GPU Technology Conference, Jensen Huang took a question from Tom Hardware's Paul Alcorn about the backlash to the technology, saying that, quote, well, first of all, they're completely wrong, while reiterating that control over the implementation remains with the game developers. Quote, DLSS 5 fuses controllability of the geometry and textures and everything about the game with generative AI. Wong said, it's not post-processing, it's not post-processing, it's not post-processing at the frame level. It's generative control at the geometry level. And while that might be the case, much of the backlash seems to be over the aesthetic changes shown off in the trailer rather than how the technology works. In that case, it's hard to suggest that what people see with their eyes is wrong. But according to NVIDIA CEO, well, it is. We still don't know what this technology will actually look like when it launches sometime this fall, but I suspect NVIDIA will be looking for ways to show it off in a more flattering light as the year marches on. I've reached out to NVIDIA for comment on this, and I'll update this story if and when I hear back. So you want to talk about gaslighting? I mean, this is like the epitome of this almost, and it's like, bro, this is it's not that case at all. I'm like, well, what is it? And then you go off and say, oh, well, it does this. I'm like, cool, I get that, and it probably makes sense, but at the same time, my eyes tell me that, hey, this is a whole other problem, and this is what I'm talking about. It's sort of like it's classic, you know, you say, "Oh, this is what's wrong with it. Let's fix this." No, that's not what we wanted. We wanted you to fix this. Like, come on,
Yeah.
man. I don't know. Like, talk about another CEO out of touch with reality and out of touch with what the fans are talking about and like their concerns. But I digress. Hope again, like the article said, it'll be painting it more in a flattering light. So basically, try and dissuade you from saying like, "Oh, we learned our lesson," or like, "Hey, look, it wasn't really that bad," but it is. Like, first impressions mean everything, just about. And this was the first impression, and you flopped it. So
Yeah. And at the moment, this is an option to be able to turn it on and off, on your game and all of that. But what happens when there's like, oh, this is always on, you know?
yeah,
And
like
it's like,
how Xbox One was going to be. It's like you always online.
yeah. And it's like, this is why we have a RAM issue, is because we're trying to force something that we don't want. Let's look at PlayStation Super Sampling that they have. It actually works and it looks really good. It's
Correct.
not doing anything that's destroying the creativity. It's just boosting and doing the things that it needs to be doing. DLSS has been doing all of those things so far. And then they're like, hey, why don't we go a step further? And it's like, okay, what are you talking about, Tom? It's like, what if we re-render the game again after it's been rendered? And it's like, why we would do that? Money.
Right.
Money. And it's like,
Mr. Krabs, money.
it almost like, I'm just saying, like, I would rather stay with the 4090 than jump to the 50
Yeah.
series or the 60 series that will be coming out soon enough. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, if I can avoid having to deal with DLSS 5 and it changing my games, like, I want my games to look like my games. I don't want it,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's just that kind of stuff. We got one more, though, Derek. We got one more from Jacqueline Thomas at IGN. And it turns out game artists don't love DLSS 5 despite NVIDIA's claims.
Jeez, who could have seen this coming? Ubisoft and Capcom, respectively, didn't know about it until the trailer debuted, with a developer from the former telling Insider Gaming, quote, "We found out at the same time as the public. Capcom's art team was particularly shocked and worried by Resident Evil's trailer, given the company's anti-AI stance with previous Resident Evil games. The Capcom art team definitely wasn't alone in its reaction to the technology. Animator Mike York, who has worked on a wide variety of games, including Death Stranding 2, streamed a reaction to Digital Foundry's preview of the DLSS 5. In it, he paused at several moments to point out some of the more radical changes that the neural rendering tech made to the games. For instance, York points out that with DLSS 5 enabled, Grace Ashcroft's eyes point in two different directions, along with extra details, like wrinkles in her lips and an ear with a completely different shape. But more than that, York contends that rather than just fixing the lighting in some materials, like NVIDIA has claimed, quote, the geometry hasn't changed in the computer, York said, so you're playing the game and the geometry isn't being changed. He's right, but he has to be careful on how he phrases it. The geometry isn't being changed, but what's happening is that it's getting painted over, sort of. Every single frame is being painted over. It's actually not showing the real geometry anymore. It appears then that the new DLSS 5 algorithm is using generative AI to generate entirely new images that are anchored to the original frames. That would account for the strange aesthetic differences and changes in details in background scenery. NVIDIA does claim that developers maintain control over the intensity of the model. When I asked NVIDIA for more information on these controls, quote, they told me, the operation of DLSS 5 honors the artistic intent, in addition by providing developers with detailed controls such as intensity and color grading. Artists can use these controls to adjust global contrast, saturation, and gamma, and determine where and how enhancements are applied to maintain the game's unique aesthetic. Developers can also make or mask specific objects or areas to be excluded from enhancement. From NVIDIA's comments, it seems like developers and artists will be able to stake their claim, as it were, in certain assets to keep them from being altered by the algorithm. However, until we see these controls in action, it's not clear how much control is actually there. And also to kind of piggyback off your earlier point, like talk about, oh, the next one, like what if you can't turn it off? Like, okay, like you can do this until you can't. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna probably try and find a way to say the plan is the plan until it's not the plan anymore. You know what I mean?
Why you got to do Asha like that? Why you got to do Asha like that?
I'm
Oh
just
yeah,
saying.
she's from AI, so never mind.
Exactly, you get it. So again, yes, cool. You could probably do all that. I want to see it, and like see, but the guy in the article, Mike York, is very poignant about it. He is, he points out like, look, the ear is funny, like wrinkles on the lips, which is weird already. It's like she's making it seem like she's that old lady from Hogwarts Legacy, and just a whole bunch of different things, and it's just like it's almost like stencil drawing it, and but it's like you're stencil drawing it while closing your eyes. It seems like so. I don't know. Like this is not what we asked for. I get it, and it's weird that Resident like Capcom was thrown off by this. It's like, yeah, we didn't know, and nor do we. Like again, they're very anti AI. They don't want to include any of this in their games, and to see this like I know they don't really have that much control over it. I mean, I'm sure they'll talk to NVIDIA, off the outside of this article and be like, hey, is there any way that our game is not included in this crap? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm sure some it's weird that Ubisoft is against this, considering how they like to be all in the bad stuff lately. But I don't know. It's Zach. What is your take on all this?
Like when I look at this, Derek, it reminds me of an image that I saw on I found it on LinkedIn, but this was
okay.
Because I'm a professional, Derek, and we go
Right.
on LinkedIn because we're professionals. But I think this is really important. Okay, so you can have all of these things. Okay, here you go. How to spot AI images. Boris Johnson train fake. Okay. Fuse dangling ceiling hooks. A physics fail. Matured church spire. Wrapped in melting background. Deformed blobby sheep. Animal glitch. Distorted Apple logo. You're looking at all of these. A random glitch over here. But then you look at his hands, Derek.
Their feet.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're getting ourselves into here. You're looking at all of these other issues, and it's like he's got feet hands. Derek,
oh boy,
he's got feet hands. Okay, like this is what we get ourselves into, Derek. Oh
God,
yeah.
we're living in the worst timeline right now.
We are. Joe brings up a good point. Go to the Louvre and grab the Mona Lisa. Turn on this DLSS 5 for it.
If you can go into the Louvre and get the Mona Lisa without getting arrested or beaten to death, good luck to you.
Well, it's like, okay, we're going to take, essentially the most famous painting in all the world.
Correct.
And we're going to run it through AI.
Right. Like,
it's like, because,
why?
It's like, because the master that painted it, I think it was Da Vinci that painted that one. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, oh, it's not good enough. This program that's been trained on his art is going to do a better job. It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
No, they're gonna word salad. It's actually like, look, we can make it look updated and improve the quality of the image because this is like
more pixels,
ancient art.
More pixels.
Right.
They're gonna throw that, but it's like it's a physical piece of painting. There's not pixels in the painting.
It's gonna generate, and her mouth is gonna be where her ear is.
Yeah. Again, I'm just saying, Derek. The whole. This,
yeah,
the foot hands,
God.
You know what I mean? The foot hands.
Oy,
I hope everyone has nightmares about the foot hands tonight.
Woof. Woof.
This is the kind of content that you get here at the Nerd Cave, everybody.